love me. Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.
Hey you guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. For those who are returning guests or returning subscribers, welcome to my channel, Holistic Beauty RN. I know it's been a while. I know you guys, some of y'all who may have noticed that I hadn't made any uploads this week was probably thinking like, what is really going on? Where has she been at? So I'm about to show y'all where I've been at. I have been making this book my best friend. That's right. I am studying for my certification boards. And for those of you who may or may have not known, I just completed my nurse practitioner program back in May or last month. So now the next step is to take my certification exam so that I can be certified as a family nurse practitioner. So that is what I've been doing, just kind of been relaxing, soaking in some sun. I'm outside, just really catching in a nice breeze here. Still super hot. You guys probably see my face is like kind of a little bit sweaty, but it feels good nonetheless, you know, getting some good old vitamin D from the sun, and just like I said, enjoying the fresh breeze, enjoying nature and all the sounds around me. I'm sure you guys hear like the birds and everything chirping in the background, the airplane up above. But just really taking in nature and enjoying it to its full extent. But I hope you guys are doing well. I just kind of wanted to give you guys some inspiration today. Haven't really done anything like this before, but you know, a part of my channel is to be inspirational to those out there who may need it. But just to want to encourage you that you can do anything you put your mind to. Like, I'm just gonna share a story with you guys real quick. So I guess it could be like kind of like a story time / inspirational / update on everything that's been going on with me. But just to share a quick story time with you guys. So when I first started my program back in January of 2017, I had just had my baby September of 2016. So he was what, a few months old. And not even that, or not only that, but I also just started a full-time job working 5 days a week. That's right, you heard it. Ooh. See, that's the only thing with being out in nature, all the bugs. But working 5 days a week. My only 2 off days, I was at school, and I had a newborn that was a few months old that I was breastfeeding at the time. And obviously they're waking up all throughout the night. For those of y'all with babies, y'all know the routine, especially if you breastfeed them, or even if not, you know, they're waking up at all times of the night, almost every 2 hours, hungry, if you're breastfeeding them. So I was doing all of that. So there was a lot of new things going on for me in my life at the time. It was my first full-time job, working 5 days a week as a nurse. I had previously worked as a full-time nurse, but I was doing 12-hour shifts. But this was my first 5 day a week full-time job in the evenings. So that was a first. Just started this new nurse practitioner program, which obviously was a first. First time being in graduate school, first time being in nurse practitioner school. So that definitely was a first. And then lastly, first time as a new mom, first time as a mom, period. So, you know, just kind of getting my routine together with a newborn baby, you know, getting the feeding routine, you know, kind of situated, and just expecting the unexpected with that, you know, just really getting used to not getting any sleep. Like I said, having a full-time job, having a newborn baby, starting in a new graduate degree program for my nurse practitioner. I didn't really want to do the online program, so it was a traditional in-class setting. So my only 2 off days from work, I was in school. So if I wasn't in school, I was at work, and vice versa. And all the little times in between, whether I had class later or had work later, I was with the baby. So luckily I had the support of my husband, his parents, my sister, and you know, just our family, period. So I thank God for that. So y'all know the struggle. I just wanted to put that out there, that even through all of that, and I still look back, now that I'm done with my program, I still look back and I say to myself, wow. Like, I have to literally stop and pause to really soak that in. Like, wow, I did that. I used to do that. all of that together, taking care of a newborn baby with a full-time job and being in graduate school, doing homework assignments and projects and different things like that. Wow. And I made it through. You know, I remember how much of a challenge it was for me to get part-time at my job. You know, even before I started doing my clinicals, because once clinicals is like when you're actually going on site, like working with the provider, basically in your role, in your future role. You know, as a student, you're doing your clinical rotations. So it's like a job. You're there for 8 hours. Sometimes I was at my clinical rotation 10 hours. You know, it just kind of all depended. We were able to get our work done in the given amount of time. If I had to stay a few hours later, you know, because we were seeing patients later than expected, because we had, you know, we had so many patients to see in the day, or whatever the case may be. So it was a full-time job, you know, going on my clinicals. So I knew, like, man, starting clinicals is going to be a challenge. If I'm still working full-time, you know, it really wasn't an issue with the baby. You know, I can get my parents or my husband's parents, or, you know, my husband if he wasn't working, to watch him. But it was more so just like, man, how am I going to juggle school and work, you know, especially once I start my clinicals? It's going to be like another job. But I can say that, you know, just really fighting to get part-time, it was a challenge. But I can say that, you know, through all the heartache, through all the, you know, the message and the email back and forth, you know, getting my union involved. And when I finally see that email sent to me saying that I had my full-time or my part-time request has been granted, I was just jumping for joy. I was so excited. I couldn't hold myself. I remember I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh. And it came just in time, right before I started my clinical rotation. I got approved for my full-time it was in April of that year. It was in April of 2018. I got approved for my part-time, and I started my clinicals in September of 2018, September of that year. So I was just like, wow, God couldn't have been on time. Like, boy, was he on time, because, you know, with my faith, I believe every bit of that was God. So, you know, I was just really excited. Everything worked out perfectly. You know, it was a grueling, you know, start, you know, just like I said, because I had everything happening so fast, everything at once. There was no pause button. I just kind of jumped right into things, you know. Even though I had a little break before I started my program in January, because I had my baby in September, started my new job in November, you know, a couple months later. And then I started my graduate degree program for my nurse practitioner in January. That was a couple of months later from starting my new job. So it's like kind of everything happened almost back to back. And then it obviously came a time where I was doing everything all at once, you know, everything together, and just able, you know, to balance everything. And I want to encourage you guys, don't feel like, oh my gosh, like even before you start getting into it, don't feel overwhelmed. I mean, it's a natural human reaction to feel overwhelmed. Like me, myself, I can attest to that. I was very overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Just dealing with one of these things, having a newborn baby was overwhelming enough. And then now you want to add a full-time job into the mix and school into the mix on top of everything else. And, you know, just thinking about everything head on, it can be intimidating. It can be nerve-wracking. You can feel anxious, fearful, just having so many doubts. Like, how am I going to do this? You know, am I gonna succeed? Am I going to be, you know, neglecting one to put more energy into the other? How am I going to be able to prioritize when all of them require my time and attention, you know, at the same time? So it can be daunting to think about all those things at once, but the whole takeaway here is you don't have to know the answer. You don't have to know up front, oh my gosh, how am I gonna juggle all these things? You don't have to know that, but just to know that if you believe it enough, the Bible says, have faith of a mustard seed. Faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. Do you realize how small a mustard seed is? Them things are small, okay? So faith that much, that little, can move something as big as a mountain. I should tell you something. If you have just enough, just any faith whatsoever to know that you can make it through, whatever your obstacle is, no matter how big or small. But just to have a bit of faith, a bit of hope, a bit of determination, courage to say, hey, I may not know how I'm gonna push through, but I'm gonna push through. If you have enough ounce of that courage to even think before you have a plan, but to even settle that, allow that to settle and fester in your brain, in your thoughts, in just your whole being, your spirit, your presence, allow that to fester. It will manifest. I'm telling you, it will manifest into strength, endurance, courage, motivation. Did I say perseverance? If I did, I'm gonna say it again. Perseverance, resilience, and the list goes on. You just have to keep pushing forward. You may not know how you're gonna get through. You got a test to study for, you're getting quizzed. I remember when I was getting quizzes every week, which meant I had to stay on top of my studying. Sometimes having to read 5 to 10 chapters at once, just for that one quiz. Really builds character. When you get into the mode of knowing, okay, this is what it requires to take. This is my end goal. Have that end goal. My end goal was I wanted to complete school, become a nurse practitioner, and at the same time being able to pay for school, you know, because I was working full time. So being able to finance my education, not have to take out student loans, and at the same time to complete my schooling without having to owe a dime. Do you hear me? Without having to owe a dime. And still being a mother for my son so that I can achieve all of this and benefit from this in the long run. And let me tell you, I'd be lying if I say it was easy, because it wasn't easy, but I made it through. And I was able to pay off my graduate degree, not owing a dime. Do you hear me? Make sure y'all have a nest egg. Save up your money, because you never know when hard times might come, or even not even hard times, but just bills that need to get paid when you're not getting the finances and steady income to pay off the bills. You have a nest egg. You have a safety net. You have money saved up where you can pay. But it feels good to say, I don't owe a dime for my graduate degree. I am done. I finished, thank God. But just looking back and saying, wow, I've accomplished all of this, you know, was there for my son, you know, was able to see him grow up, even though, you know, of course, you miss certain things along the way. You know, when you're so busy, you're at work or school and obviously not physically around, you might miss him walking. Like I missed him taking his first steps on his own, but thank God for technology. My husband was able to record it and send me the video, so I was still happy to see that even through the video content. Guys, these bugs is so rude, but it will be all worth it in the end. When you finish, you have your degree, you're able to, you know, advance yourself and provide more for your family. It's just such an exhilarating feeling to know that all your hard work is paid off. So spit some facts from my own journey to those of you who may be embarking or about to embark on this same journey yourself, or a similar journey. Sometimes you just need to hear it from somebody who's been there. So I hope I could have encouraged or inspired somebody out there. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the time, whether it's away from work, or maybe you're off today, or you're on a break, or even if that's not the case, just enjoying life. Just be encouraged and know that you will make it through. You don't have to have the game plan right in front of you. You don't even have to know how you're gonna do it, but just one little step. Every little step counts. All right, you guys, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, enjoy the beautiful weather, beautiful nature all around you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Time to get back to the books. Remember, every little bit counts. Bye-bye. See you in my next one. Peace, love, and happiness.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me,